Good morning, yoga friends. Thank you so much for joining today. There was a call for some low back attention, and I thought today that would be a great thing to focus on. So using the chair and maybe taking a little more gentler of a practice where we're really bringing our awareness to the low back area along with the hips and the hamstrings are kind of all connected. So we'll move the spine in a couple of different directions and we'll just get a really good stretch in, bringing our awareness to that whole area. So let's begin in our seats and we'll start with our breath work. So as you all know, yoga is all about the breath. And so right from the beginning, we want to establish a really beautiful relationship with our breath. And the breath is what kind of fuels us through the practice. It keeps us steady and deep when we're holding poses. It brings a sense of resiliency when we're in a more challenging pose. And it brings a sense of calm and connection. So the breath is really what brings the mind and body together. So find your seat. You're going to bring your ankles directly below your knees, toes pointing forward. Your knees are in line with your hips. And you're sitting away from the back of the chair with your shoulders stacked right over those hips. Draw your chin slightly in so that you feel the back of your neck in line with the rest of the spine, nice and tall. And allow the eyes to close. Rest your hands on your thighs, relax your elbows, and just begin to fall into your breath. With the eyes closed, we allow our vision, our awareness, our attention to turn inward. We're sort of taking away those external distractions and allowing our minds to quiet and settle. This can take a little bit of time, so don't be in a rush. But over the next couple of breaths, just draw your attention to your breathing. And see if you just can't follow the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe in and out through your nose. I find this to be a very relaxing way to connect to my breath, just following that rise and fall. There's no need to change the rhythm of your breath, just fall right into it. Keeping your spine nice and tall. Take a moment to bring your awareness to your sit bones and root down. Press the soles of your feet into the floor as well. And gently tone your navel by drawing it back towards your spine and see if you can just pull up through the crown of the head and lengthen your spine a little bit more. Relaxing the tops of the shoulders. And just finding our breath here, settling in. Making that mind-body connection. Now bring both hands to your belly. And on your next breath in, I want you to relax your belly, let it expand as you fill your lungs, and breathe in for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold your breath here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale through the nose, and as you do, squeeze your belly button towards your spine and squeeze your pelvic floor. Get a little lift there as you empty out the lungs, again for the count of 4. And then we're going to hold empty here for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, relax the belly, let it expand for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4. Squeezing navel to spine. 3, 2, 1. And holding empty for 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Inhale, relax the belly. Let it fill as you breathe in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding full. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling for 4. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Draw navel to spine. 2, 1. And hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the hands to the thighs. Keep the eyes closed and just enjoy a few rounds of breath here. Noticing how your abdominal feels after you've toned it through that breath work. So the abdominal region is very much connected to the low back. And sometimes a weaker core can contribute to our low back pain. But the hips are also involved. And today we're just going to move the spine in every direction so that we begin to unlock some of the tightness that oftentimes develops in this area. Sedentary lifestyle or too much pounding on a surface can contribute to that sensation. Tight hips, tight hamstrings. So we're going to work on all of that today. Let's ease the eyes open and keeping your spine nice and straight. We're just going to start to take little circles. So I want you to move your chest forward, around, and back. But we're keeping the spine straight as we do this. These are called soupy circles. And as we do this, you may feel this unlocking sensation at the base of the spine, right where the tailbone is. You can feel your sacrum. So we want to think about keeping our neck in line with our spine, our shoulders, and our hips. So the back is straight and we're just rotating out of our pelvis. I don't know about you guys, but for me, this feels really good. Keep anchoring through the soles of your feet, and then we'll switch directions. Now, if it feels better to take a little smaller, tighter circle, you're welcome to do that. If it feels better to explore and stretch out of your hips and your low back and go bigger, feel free to do that. Maybe you start small and then you get bigger as you start to loosen up. This is a wonderful thing to do if you've been sitting for any length of time. Really helps to open up the tightness that we feel right in that low back region. Good. Now, as you round back, I want you to round into it. And then you're going to roll to the side and stretch your heart forward. And then roll to the side and round it back. So now we're moving the spine a little bit more. We're not keeping it straight, but we're actually extending it forward and rounding it back. So this is a little bit more fluid, a little bit more mobile, kind of getting the shoulders involved, maybe feeling it a little more in the hips. Right, so rounding it as you go back and then stretching your heart forward as you go forward. We'll do that for a couple more rotations in this direction, and then pause and reverse direction. So feeling how this opens us up even more and noticing how the low back sensation, if there's any tightness there, it can actually go all the way up into our shoulders and our neck, right? It's all connected. Maybe you feel this in your hips as well. But these circles are really good for just unlocking the tightness there. Good. And then bringing yourself back to center. Now, this is very simple and we do it in almost every class, but I can't overstate the benefits of doing cow and cat. So turning to the side, As you breathe in, just slide the hands closer to the front of the hips and lift the center of your chest. Maybe your gaze goes up. We're arching the back here. As you exhale, you're going to tuck and round, slide your hands forward and hollow out your belly as you draw chin to chest, feeling a rounding sensation through the back. Inhale as we extend, press into your sit bones, draw the ribs forward, lift the heart. Exhale as you tuck and round. You can feel your vertebra getting stimulated here as you extend on the in-breath and as you flex on the out-breath. So motion is the lotion here, right? It's true for anything that we do. Motion is what keeps our vertebra nice and loose. It keeps the synovial fluid stimulated within the body, right? And that provides lubrication. And so often when we're tight and stiff, you know, we're lacking that movement. So that's what we're trying to do here. When you round, retract your shoulder blades. And when you lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Let's do 2 more. Wherever you are in your sequence, 2 more of these. And this should just be part of your daily practice. A wonderful cow-cat sequence, whether you're on all fours or you're seated. Good. And then back to center. Plant your feet, knees over ankles. Let's move the spine laterally. So we're going to take our left arm up and overhead. Reach for the right side of your chair, the leg or the seat. And we're just going to stretch out of that left hip. So anchor that left sit bone and the left hip crease down and lift up and out of your pelvic floor as you stretch to the right. That left palm is facing down. Press your ribs to the left and breathe into your left lung. The spine moves in 6 directions, forward and back, side to side, right? Up and down. Twisting left to right. Good. Now take this left shoulder and draw it to the right. You're going to kind of round and look down at the outer edge of your right foot. Let your chin tuck towards your chest. And then your gaze is going to follow your left hand. So as you inhale, bring your left hand up and over and back at a diagonal. So you're sweeping it back behind you, opening up the chest. Then as you exhale, follow your hand with your gaze and round back, dropping that left shoulder towards the right side. Good. Again, inhale, let's sweep that arm open. Feel this opening up your back body and your front body. Exhale, follow your hand with your gaze and round it down. One more. Open up on the in-breath. Sweeping the hand back, gaze follows. And exhale, let's take it forward, round. See if you can feel this in the lower quadrant of the left side of your back. Now look towards the camera and sweep that left arm up and overhead. Take your gaze forward, take your chin forward, just open up the chest here, keep grounding the sit bones. And up and release. We'll take that to the other side. Holding on to the left with the left hand, reach the right arm up and overhead. Turn the palm to face the floor, lift out of your right hip and reach over to the left side. Now that right sit bone turns on, right hip crease. Find a rooting sensation there and lift out of your hip. Pressing your right ribs to the right side and really breathing into that right lung. Mind-body connection, breath. That's the connecting point. Good. Now take a breath in, and as you exhale, we're going to drop that right shoulder and look down to the left, tucking chin to chest. And then inhale, we'll sweep that right arm up and back. Follow it with your gaze, opening up the chest. Exhale as you bring it back, round and look down. Good. Inhale again. Follow the hand with your gaze. Sweep it back. Open up. Exhale as you take it down, round and drop that shoulder. Last time, big breath in. Follow the hand with your gaze. Sweep it open. And then exhale to drop it down. Good. Now gaze forward and sweep that right arm up and overhead. Chin pointing forward, opening up the front of the chest, creating a grounding sensation through the sit bone. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, come up. Good. Let's give both shoulders a nice roll. So loop them up towards your ears and back and down. We'll go into the shoulders and the neck just a little bit more so that we can be open and know that we're truly open in the upper part of our back before we go back and down into the lower portion. So sweep your right arm up at shoulder height. Turn the thumb up to face the sky, palm facing forward, and draw your arm bone back. Start to feel a delicious opening across the collarbones and the front of that right shoulder. And now drop your left ear to the left shoulder and sweep the left hand up, laying it on top of your right ear. Opening up the neck here, breathing into this side. We're just going to rotate that right thumb down and back, and up and back. So we're rotating that shoulder joint. We're asking the right side of our neck to open. If placing the left hand on the ear is too much for you, you're certainly welcome to not do that. Any modification you need to make, please listen to your body. That's the whole point of yoga. Good. One more rotation, thumb up and then down. Good. And then back up. Release the hand from the ear. Gently bring your head up and then relax the right arm down and just do single shoulder rolls. We'll take it back first. Noticing if there's any little clicking or popping, and then reverse other direction. Right, it's all connected here. And relax. Good. Other side, floating the left arm up now. Palm faces forward, turn the thumb up, and then draw the arm bone back behind you. Big stretch, right in front of your shoulder into your pec here. And drop right ear to right shoulder and float the right hand up to find the left ear. You'll notice right away if this is a tighter side or a little bit more open. Keep drawing that left arm bone back, and then let's rotate the thumb down and then up so that you're feeling that left shoulder joint. Getting some nice lubrication, a little mobility exercise here. Keep us nice and open. Inviting some more opening in the left side of the neck. This is definitely my tighter side. Let's do one more rotation. Thumb down, thumb up. Good. Release the right hand down away from the ear. Lift your head up. And then lower the left arm down, and let's do some single shoulder loops here. Lifting that left shoulder up and back, and then reversing. Oh, good stuff. All right, both arms are going to come out to a T now, taking our spine into a twist. Keep your shoulders over your hips. Your legs are not going to move, so root down through your feet. Take a breath in, and as you exhale from your belly button, just start to turn the chest to the right. And you're going to use your arms in this T shape to encourage the twist. Good. Inhale through center. Exhale, pull navel to spine and twist to the left. So you'll notice my lower body isn't moving at all. The initiation of the movement comes from the belly button, and then the ribs follow, and then the shoulders follow, and maybe even the chin. So we're just alternating with our breath back and forth, creating this yummy twisting sensation, which is not only for the muscles around the spine, but also for the internal organs. Feels really, really good. And it can help bring some of that feeling of like unlocking things. Now, next time you come over to the right, bring the left hand to the outside of that right thigh and hang on to the back of the chair. Let's press down through the sit bones and the feet and lift up through the tailbone. Reaching the crown of the head up, take a breath in. And on the exhale, see if you can twist a little bit further. Maybe you spin your chin towards the back. But be kind, be gentle, listen to your body, do whatever feels right for you. Breathing in, breathing out. As we inhale, we'll come back to center, bringing the arms to a T. Exhale, navel to spine as we twist to the left and taking that on the other side. The back of the hand presses into that right or left outer thigh. Wrap your left arm behind the back of the chair and breathe in to find some length in your spine. Really elongate out of your pelvic floor. As you exhale, see if you can twist. Maybe you get a little pop or release from some of the muscles there. Feeling a little adjustment in your spine can always be a nice treat. But take it to a level that feels comfortable and manageable. Breathe in. And as you breathe out, unwind. Good. Now take a breath in, lift your chest slightly, shoulders draw back. As you exhale, we're going to tuck our chin to our chest and just fold all the way down. You can rest your hands on your thighs if this is more comfortable for you. But I want you to try to get the crown of the head to point down towards the floor. Let your spine lengthen here. Keep a connection to the seat of the chair, pressing the sit bones down. And out of that area, let your spine spill forward. Let the weight of your head draw down. Let it open up your back. And then if you'd like, you can start to just walk your hands over to the right, keeping the head heavy, and then over to the left, taking a little bit of a twist here. Noticing how this feels. Nice release out of that low back area. And then we'll bring it back to center. Tuck your chin to your chest, press into your feet, and roll up one vertebra at a time, as if you were stacking blocks and rebuilding your skeletal spine. Coming up nice and tall. Give yourself a moment because you could have a bit of a head rush, right? Feeling the blood coming back into the body from the brain. Good, really nice. Now bring your feet out a little bit wider. And bring your arms back out to a T. So now we're going to start to get into, actually we'll hold on to the side of the chair, starting to get into the hip area, which is so connected to the low back. So let's do our windshield wipers first, just to bring a little bit more mobility. So we're dropping that right knee to center and then the left. So I'm sitting towards the edge of my chair, so that I have the freedom to drop the knees, and we're just alternating right to left. And you should feel this in the front of the hip as well as the outer edge of the hip. Good. Let's do one more each side. And then take that wide stance with the toes turned out and your knees stacked over your ankles. Now we'll bring the arms to a T, and we're going to work a little bit on strengthening these inner thigh muscles and the outer hip muscles. This is also a little bit of a core exercise. So as you inhale, you're going to tap your left hand to your right heel, drawing that up to meet. Exhale it out. Inhale a tap, and we're alternating. So my spine is straight. I'm not rounding to touch. If you need to round to touch, then don't go all the way. Just go where you can go as you keep your spine straight. So there's a little twist here. We're recruiting our abdominals as well. So you should feel that as you draw the belly button in, as you twist, in as you twist. Good. Feel this in the outer hips. Feel this in the inner thigh, building a little strength and some core connection, which is really important in keeping that low back healthy. Keep alternating. You're doing a great job. One more, each side. Good. And release. Very nice. Hands come to the thighs. Keep those legs wide. And now we're going to alternate side to side. So the right arm is going to stretch at a diagonal over to the left. And you're just reaching out of that right hip. It should feel really nice on that lower right quadrant of your back. And then switch over to the left, or left arm over to the right, reaching out of that left hip. And switch. So just side to side. Going at a slower, gentler pace so that we can really tune into that stretch. Feel into the low back. Feel into the outer hips. Wherever this is showing up for you, try to connect to it with your breath. Let's do one more each side. Good. Ah, beautiful. Very nice. Now walk your feet in. Come to the edge of your chair if you're not already there. And let's pull that right knee into our chest. So you're going to interlace your hands underneath your kneecap, right on top of your shin. And from the side, I'm sitting up nice and tall. So bring your chest to your thigh and your thigh towards your chest. We don't want this to be happening. We want to lift the center of the chest, pulling those elbows in, and then let's roll out that right ankle. Whenever we can get an opportunity to kind of move our joints and lubricate our joints, we should do it. So ankle joint getting a little love here, hip joint getting some love. And then our low back is working in tandem with our core. So core should be engaged here. Find that toning sensation of drawing the navel in, maybe hugging the pelvic floor up a little bit. Good, and then thread your hands underneath your thigh and let's extend that right leg long. Pressing through the heel of the foot and drawing the toes back towards you. Again, my shoulders are stacked over my hips. I'm toning my lower abdominals and I'm sitting nice and tall. We're going to inhale, bend the knee, draw it in. Exhale, extend it out. Inhale, draw in using core. Exhale, press out. So building some strength in our legs and our hip flexors here. Also really helping to keep this area nice and flexible. Right? Tight hips are oftentimes the culprit to a tight low back. So just a couple more like this. If you feel like you don't need your hands to hold on to your thigh, by all means, release. And then extend out, sit tall, and then keeping your legs straight, we're just going to drop that heel all the way down to the ground. Hands to your thighs, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, hinge forward from the hips with a nice flat back. So if you can, both hands can rest either on that left thigh or maybe slide down the front of your right shin, coming into a deep stretch for that outer glute and hamstring. Drawing the toes back towards you as much as you can. Trying not to round into the back, but keeping it nice and straight. Imagine pulling your right hip crease back just a little bit more. And then land your left forearm onto your left thigh. And with a bow and arrow kind of movement, take your right arm up. So from the elbow and then all the way up to the sky as you turn and twist open to the right. Now this might increase some sensation in that outer hip. It's also a nice twist for the back. Breathe in. And breathe out to release. Very nice. Slowly bring yourself back and up and step that right foot in. We will take that to the other side. Drawing the left knee in now. Sit up nice and tall. Relax the tops of the shoulders down and pull the thigh towards the chest and the chest towards the thigh. No rounding of the back, a nice open chest here. Let's roll out that left ankle. You'll take it in both directions at your pace and in your way. Notice how the back feels really good already. Just some movement to warm it up, right, to get rid of that tight sensation. And recruiting those core muscles to keep us sitting nice and tall. Right, that takes some of the work out of it. We're not placing all of the duty on the back, right? The core is there to help support us. Good, and then threading the hands underneath that left thigh. Breathe in, breathe out as you extend and press through the heel. Good, couple of moments of breath here, pushing the heel away, drawing the toes back, sitting nice and tall, and finding that abdominal connection. And then inhaling as we draw the knee in, exhale as we press out. Using the breath to initiate the movement. Noticing how our knee joint, our hip joint feels as we do this. Know that we're building some strength and some flexibility. Again, if you feel strong enough to release your support of your hands, feel free to do that too. Good, one more time, draw the knee in, and then extend out and hold, and gently release that heel down. Press the toes back towards you, bring your hands to your thighs, breathe in as you lift out of your hips, and then breathe out as you hinge forward, sliding hands down the front of that left shin or relaxing both of them onto your right thigh. So again, we don't want to be rounded. If you can't keep a flat back and fold that far forward, then just bring it back a little bit, right? You don't need to go that far down. Pretty sure you'll be feeling a good stretch in this left side either way. Keep drawing navel to spine and energetically drawing that left hip crease back. Toes pull back towards your shin, draw your heart forward, lengthen out of your low back here. Think of elongation. One more breath. Good, and now right forearm to right thigh, we're going to do that bow and arrow as we open to the left. Lifting the left elbow and then the left arm all the way up to the sky and turning our chest to the left. Feeling into this side as we open up that outer hip. One more breath. And release. So beautiful. Good. Gently draw that left foot in to meet the right, sit tall. And let's come to stand. So I'm going to face the back of my chair. I'll actually face you guys and hold on to the back of my chair. And we're just going to swing our legs in a couple of directions to release, again, any sensation of that low back being locked up. So I'm going to stand on my left leg, my right leg is free, and I'm just going to start to swing it back and forth. So make sure you have enough space to freely do this. And this might feel really good. I mean, to me, it's kind of remarkable how good this movement, just this movement feels. And then you're going to bend your knee and swing it as well. Maybe you hear a little pop or release in your back as you do this. It's possible. Good. And then you're going to take your knee out to the side and start to make circles, opening up the hip so the right hand can come to the right hip. Good. And reverse direction. Think of this as oiling up the Tin Man body that you wake up with in the morning. Good. All right, now that right foot is going to step out. You're going to be about hips width distance apart here. Sweep your arms overhead, and you're going to grab your left wrist with your right hand. Lengthen your arms up, push into your feet, and on the exhale, lean over to the right as you press that left hip and left rib cage to the left. Find an even weight distribution between your feet. Oh, yeah. Big side body stretch here. Now bend both knees. Pick up your left heel, step it behind your right. Bend both knees, take this into a little curtsy, and see if you don't get a deeper sense of stretch. Opening up that left side. Good. Rise up to stand. Relax the arms down. And we'll take that to the other side. So walk around to the other side of your chair. Move the chair, whatever is convenient for you. And let's start to swing the left leg as we use the right leg to stand on. So this might be a little bit tighter for you. Right? Just take this as deep as feels good. Don't overdo it. How to bend to the knee, right? Extending back, flexing forward. Good. And then out to the side, knee bent, making our hip circles, drawing the circle with the kneecap. Nice. Trying to make as big a rotation as you can. We'll switch direction. Could be some good popping and releasing going on here. There is some in my house. Good. And then stepping it out wide. Bring the arms overhead. Reach up, find that right wrist crease with your left hand. Press into the feet, pull out of the hips. On the exhale, up and over to the left as we press the hip and the rib cage to the right. Lengthen your tailbone. Breathe spaciousness into your right side. Bend into both knees. Pick up that right heel. Step your toes behind your left. Bend both knees into that curtsy and take this a little bit deeper. Breathing spaciousness into the right side of the body. Good. Rising up, relax the arms down, maybe give them a good loop or two. And now we will face the back of our chair. So grab on, hands about shoulder width distance apart. Let's walk the feet back into our downward facing dog. This is a really yummy stretch for the back. As you press your chest down between your arm bones, drawing the ribs towards your thighs, lift your tailbone up. Soften the knees if the hamstrings are kind of tight here. Let your head go. Shake your head yes and no. And breathe into that sensation of elongating your spine. Inner shoulders relax. Good. Now let's press both hips over to the right. So I'm just going to swing my hips to the right and breathe. Big stretch into that outer right IT band, hip stabilizing muscle. And then through center and swing hips to the left. So my feet aren't moving, my legs aren't moving, just the hips. Good, back to center. Now look forward and walk yourself forward. And on your next breath in, rise up on your toes, press your hips forward and lift the center of the chest, coming into an arch. This is a little bit of a back bend here. Drop your tailbone down. Feel the toes press into the mat. Extend out of your low back and press those hips forward. On the exhale, lower the heels down, lift the toes, and drop your sit bones back and hinge from the hips with a flat back. Big stretch of the hamstrings here. Let's do that again. Inhale, rise onto the toes, press the hips forward, lift the center of the chest. Shoulder blades come together on the back. Exhale, now lower the heels, rock onto them as you lift your toes and press your hips and tailbone back. Hinge from your hips. Feels so yummy. How about one more, guys? Good. Inhale, let's come up onto the toes. Press the hips forward, lift the center of the chest, arching the back. And exhale as we lower the heels down, lift the toes, press the tailbone back. Maybe this round feels like you've actually opened up those hamstrings a little bit more, right? Good stuff. All right, let's walk it back to our downward facing dog one more time. Now root into your left foot and lift your right leg up. Now try to keep the heel in line with the hip and press through that heel. Feel like you're lengthening out of your buttocks, out of your low back, just getting nice and long on that right side. Your abdominal muscles are working here. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to step that right foot forward, bend into the knee, and then angle the left toes and ground the left heel down. Square your hips towards the back of your chair for a warrior one position here. And you want that right knee right over your right ankle, but I really want you to feel the stretch in your left hamstring. Breathe in. As you breathe out again, maybe hinge a little bit forward, letting the elbows bend out to the side, really increasing that stretch in your left calf, left hamstrings. Oh yeah, feels good. Good. Now rise up. Step that left foot in about one step, bend into the left knee, straighten the right leg, and set the hips back as you curl your right toes towards your shin. Now we're stretching the right hamstring. I think this is a Zumba cool down stretch. Good. And then back to center. Good. Let's walk it back to downward facing dog. We'll do that on the other side. This time, grounding through the right foot, we're going to sweep that left leg back, toes pointing down. Flex through the foot and press that left heel away from you and feel like the flesh of your buttocks and the outer edges of your left hip are lengthening down and out through your leg. Feel long on that left side. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now, looking forward, step the left foot forward, bend into the left knee, and then drop that right heel down and angle the toes towards the top corner of your mat. Square your hips here for warrior one pose. Now press very strongly into the outer edge of that back foot and start to connect with the stretch in the calf and the hamstrings on this side. You can stay here. This might be enough for you. Or bend at the elbows and hinge forward from the hips, going a little bit deeper here. This is a pretty deep stretch. So rely on your breath. Find that resiliency, right? Long, slow, steady, deep breaths. Nice work, everyone. And we'll come up, straighten that front leg, step the back foot in. We're going to bend into the right knee, keep that left leg straight and curl the toes back towards your shin as you sit your hips back and down. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Good. Take one more breath, drop a little lower if you can, and then rise up. Very nice. Now step the left foot back to meet the right. So both of my feet are planted on the mat, and I'm slightly away from the back of the chair, not as far as downward facing dog. This is going to be an exercise to kind of bring a little more awareness to the core. So as you inhale, I want you to draw the front of your right hip and knee up towards the chest. You can round here. Exhale, bring it down. And we're going to alternate like that, lifting and lowering, kind of a march, but this could feel really good on your low back. Now, instead of thinking of just lifting the knee, I want you to think of pulling the front of your hip up towards your ribs and rounding into that. Can you feel this in your core? Can you feel your core working here? Let's do one more round. On each side, right pulls in, and then left. Very nice. Good. Walk forward towards the back of your chair and then step out nice and wide. Turn the toes out. Let's bend the knees until they stack over our ankles, dropping that tailbone down. One nice last hip opener, keeping our shoulders over our hips. Can you feel the stretch in the inner and outer thighs and hips here? Good, our goddess pose. Bring the hands to relax on top of the thighs right behind your knees. Let's drop the right shoulder over to the left. You're going to press that right thigh open and away from you, and you're going to turn to look over your left shoulder. Drop down into the hips and feel this not only opening up your hips, but your back as you get this really nice stretch. Feeling that twisting sensation. Come back through center, and we'll take it to the other side. Dropping the left shoulder. I'm pressing my left inner thigh open with my left hand. Turning to look over my right shoulder. Dropping into my hips. Feeling a kind of a spiraling effect through the spine. Good. And then coming back to center. Relax the arms down. Press into your feet to rise up. Very nice. Let's come on back to our seat. This time inviting you to sit all the way back into your chair. Finding the support of the seat and the back. Relax your hands on top of your thighs. Let's close our eyes. Take a moment to regulate your breath and just let it breathe naturally. Relax your jaw. Relax the top of your shoulders. And let's bring our awareness to our low back and our hips. Can you notice a shift? Maybe in temperature. Maybe there's a warmness there. A sense of blood flow that wasn't there before. maybe a sense of fluidity or stretching out, right? Bringing more spaciousness. Allow yourself to sit with your feelings and your sensations for a couple of more breaths. Giving the mind and the body an opportunity to synthesize here. And whatever comes up, being non-judgmental about it. Always appreciating our bodies for what they can do, for being gentle with them, practicing ahimsa, the act of feelings of nonviolence and gentleness towards ourselves and others. And knowing that everything is connected. So while we focus on our low back and our hips and hamstrings today, your whole body benefited from this practice. So acknowledge that. Give yourself credit for showing up, because that's everything. Doing the work, showing up. Bring a smile to your face, and let's let our palms join in front of our heart. It was my honor to guide you today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to practice, to bring health and well-being to your body, and for joining us in community, whether together or virtual. Thumbs to third eye center. Let's bow to one another in acknowledgement of the light within us all. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. I hope you enjoyed this practice. I hope your low backs are happy, enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.